Hmm. Got this new flip phone, the Galaxy Flip. It's a pretty cool phone. I wouldn't say it's a waste of money, especially since I haven't had a new phone within over 5 years, Anyway, it's not a sponsorship for this phone, but I figured why not put it to use. I've always been diagnosed with ADHD, and some people see it as a curse, others use it to their advantage. It's knowing how to use your personality that makes you a little bit more advanced than certain individuals that are still lost in their mind. I'm my senior year of obtaining my bachelor's degree. Probably got 1-2 semesters left. The thing I struggle with during the semester is commitment. And if you look under the DSM-5, which is kind of like a rule book for disorders, a lot of the things I'm going to share with this chat is relatable. One of those things is procrastinating, and pacing back and forth, which is what I'm doing right now. If you're wondering where I'm at, I'm in the one place that calms my mind and it just brings peace. And I found this place in my maybe early 20s, mid 20s, and it's a simple place. It's not nowhere impossible to reach. It's a baseball field. I'm walking on a baseball field with the full moon. I've never been religious, and before I begin with that new introduction to religion, I just want to give myself, or if I decide to share this video with anyone else, heads up that with ADHD it's common to jump subjects right away. You could be talking about one thing and you switch it up almost, simultaneously. Came on this walk to clear my mind, I'm had a worker's injury back in 2017, got electrocuted by indirect contact, 16,000 volts. It's astonishing to believe, but it's true. I'm here now, say for the most part recovered. I'm functional. Life's been interesting, and I don't know where to begin, but I'll begin where I left off before getting off topic, which was religion. With this religion, I grew up in a household, a Hispanic household, with Mexican American Hispanic household, maybe lower poverty, not too bad. I had food, I had clothes on my back. I grew up with 2 sisters. Parents grew up in domestic backgrounds, domestic violence, and some other things they shared with me, which led to our upbringing, which led to their divorce and issues within the family. We're not necessarily responsible. We're all human. None of us are perfect. 27 years down the line, I'm here walking the walk. And my decision to look for Jesus has come upon me. I've been against the ropes before. Having ADHD, you feel like you're against the ropes. And it's just something I'm used to. I don't know how I get in these situations, but I'm just like a wizard in the ropes. You know, you could knock me down if you want. You can hit me pretty hard, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna get up. But this time, I fell for a cookie in a jar. I have this good girl that I didn't know how to attend. Or so I think. She was requesting what seemed like something impossible for me to do because it's out of my characteristic. Which was, give her attention, make her feel wanted. And, maybe I did lack in that area. Maybe 2 years into the relationship almost. Now my ex-girlfriend. But I never felt like I could meet those demands. Not the way she wanted me to. And I don't know if it's because of the cultural differences. Because of the way we both grew up. Beats me. But we got together during our historic time. Historic and confusing for many. During the pandemic of 2020. And it was during this time that we got together. I was receiving workers' comp benefits. So I was getting paid to stay home and study. It was nice. On top of that, financial aid. I didn't really have to worry about bills. I felt privileged. Especially for being Hispanic. Growing up in a lower middle class. Lower poverty to where I am now. I felt blessed, I've always felt blessed, kind of like an angel's watching over me to have survived everything I have up until this point. And especially like stress-wise, mental-wise, physically, all of the above. So I get to this point. I meet this girl, this girl that I dated during the pandemic. Great gal. We have a great time. I really enjoyed the pandemic. There's no traffic. Everything was empty. You can literally cruise to LA in 20 minutes. From where I live in 20 minutes. It was nice. 20 minutes is nothing to me. That's like going to campus. And I just had the time of my life. Even though I got knocked out during that time with a baseball in the temple. Even though I got a house fire. I got COVID. I lost my taste, my smell, all that, on top of that, school, transferring. Anyway, I had a good time with this girl. We get to this point where, she's requesting that I pay attention to her. And like I said earlier, I do admit to fault. Maybe I did lack in that area. But it got to the point where it started getting kind of toxic. She started getting defensive against certain girls coming around my life. I'm sure she felt the vibe. You know what it's like living in the US. No one has respect for each other anymore. I don't even know if anyone ever did. Sometimes I think we're just all apes, evolved. Well, I guess that's a biological theory. So, let me get to where I've been wanting to get. Fast forward. We're broken up, but we're still talking, trying to work things out. I end up hooking up with my neighbor. And, I just avoided all the red flags. Because to me, it was like, yeah, it's a neighbor, I'm broken up, she's broken up, why the fuck not? We agreed, it's mutual, keep it between us. Exes don't find out. I know what you're thinking, this sounds shady, maybe in some ways, but I was broken up, even though we were still talking. was like a sneaky link. Apparently this girl has a disorder I can't share, but personality disorder. I'm gonna share it anyway, because I'm not giving out any names here. So this bitch disregards the agreement of keeping it discreet between us two, and at this moment I'm nervous because she's sending me pictures of her cutting herself because I don't want to go back and fuck her. She doesn't understand. I have my son and I have my life, and I can't attend to her whenever she wants. So with this personality disorder, I guess it's common for these individuals to do something irrational when they don't get what they want. So she starts sending me pictures of herself harming herself. And let me rephrase, I just hooked up with her. That's the only type of relationship we have. I thought it was pretty insane in a 24-hour period for her to start acting like this. And that's when I realized, oh wow, what did I get myself into? I got a lot of problems. I got a lot of deadlines coming up. I got a lot of stress piling up from the pandemic. I'm up against the ropes again. I've been here before. But this time, I found a different outcome. I asked my stepdad, a man who has struggled through life, as most have, but he's the type of guy that, even when he's in the worst of it, he could still make it out somehow. And I asked him how he did that, and I asked him what he thought about Jesus. And commonly, he's helping me hang up my heavy bag to box in my backyard. It's maybe a cool 65 degree outside in Southern California, and tells me through Jesus, and Jesus had just caught my interest lately. There's a lot of evil in the world right now. It's why do we support all this satanic shit, but we mock Jesus? Maybe because the right people don't represent Jesus, I think it's individually. Something that caught my mind about Jesus first was watching this prison show about this woman who completely did a 360 with her life. Before being reborn as a Christian, she was a stripper, got into drugs, partied, had sex. Nothing wrong with that, sex. It's part of procreation. But she did this at a very young age, at an adolescent age. And when she got pregnant, she was able to turn her life completely around. And I was just astonished. I was like, really? Just from converting into a Christian? So that's what caught my curiosity at first. I was so astonished, but my ex thought I was more preoccupied with the idea of her being a stripper. I'm like, no, I'm preoccupied with the idea of how she turned her life around. So as I walk here through this baseball field at night by myself, I'm not afraid. I don't sense evil. But I begin my journey. It was when I first prayed, which was during this time of stress, that I ran into a Christian lady. She helped me resolve the issue with the mentally unstable person I hooked up with. And I just thought it was ironic that I ran into that lady that night. So here I am. I think tomorrow is going to be my first day I go to church. I'm already telling myself I'm going to wake up in the morning after I pray to stop procrastinating. I haven't smoked as much weed. My head has kind of a clear pathway of what I want to do, in a way. But anyway, this is vlog 1. Should have probably said this in the beginning. I guess there's no right way to do it. This is vlog 1. It's maybe the 21st of November, 20th, 21st. and it's about 7:05 p.m. I guess I could start heading back home soon. This is kind of like a form of talk therapy for myself, and I guess I'm putting this on the best use. I'm gonna check out later on